DC knows I'm nostalgic towards these characters at this point, and they're trying to play on that and manipulate me, but you know what? I don't care. What is up, Flick fans, and welcome back to my channel. And I just watched something that I was so excited for, and that is Justice League versus the Fatal Five. The reason that I say that is because they are bringing back the show and the characters from that show that we know and love. That's right, Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, the show from the early 2000s. That cast, not the entire cast, but some of our major characters, they have new heroes joining the Justice League, and we have a brand new story set in that universe. I can't believe it's 2019. I am saying that today. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on this straight to Blu-ray and on-demand movie that is Justice League versus the Fatal Five. I had to find this, I had to buy it, I had to watch it just to give you guys a review, and I'm so pumped to talk about it. DC animated movies constantly deliver. Not everyone hits. Usually when it hits pretty hard. Sometimes when it misses, I'm not the biggest fan of it. So today I'm going to tell you guys whether this movie hit or missed. Be sure to get down in the comments section below. Let me know, have you watched this? If you haven't watched it, are you excited for it? And are you pumped to hear this voice cast return? We're talking Kevin Conroy as Batman, our Superman, our Wonder Woman. They are all back behind the mic, giving us those famous voices that we know and love. Let's talk about this movie. So the Justice League battles the Fatal Five, and they are joined by brand new team members in a new Green Lantern, Miss Martian, and Mr. Terrific. And I get it, some people are going to watch this and say, well, that's just a Saturday morning cartoon turned into a feature and DC's releasing it just to make money. Look, sometimes I have to be honest and tell you guys that when nostalgia hits me, it can hit me hard. It can hit me to the point to where I kind of look over issues with movies and television shows, and I'm just focused on how much I loved these characters as a kid. And that's not to say this movie is bad, because it's not. It's good. I had a really good time with it. I was entertained, but I have to admit that nostalgia really hit me hard while I was watching this, because going into it, I knew it was probably set in that universe, but in the back of my head, I'm like, well, they could have just went with the same animation style and brought back a few of the voices. Maybe they're not gonna tell you guys where Green Lantern is and gonna mention where this character is. And then they started talking about, oh, well, this character is here, and explaining things, reasons why we're not seeing the entire Justice League or Justice League Unlimited. And then things happen in this movie to where you see that this is set in that universe, and all of the memories of my childhood came flooding back to my head. And when they played certain theme songs, not telling you what theme songs or what music started playing, but guys, I got chills. Just talking about it, I got chills, and I was so excited to see these heroes back on screen. And one thing that this movie doesn't do that I think is going to make a few critics upset is that they don't flesh out and explore the characters that we are supposed to know as fans of the old Justice League from 2000 to, I believe, 2004 or 6-ish. It expects you to know these characters, so they come on screen, they do their thing, they are the same characters that we knew, the Bruce Timm universe. They are back, and I love seeing them, and I don't think they need to flesh those out. If you are new to this universe, if you didn't grow up in the early 2000s, say you're younger or you're older and you just didn't care at that point, but right now you're going to be like, you know what, I'm going to check this movie out. You still know who Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman are, so they don't really need that much fleshing out. Now, we do have some new characters, Miss Martian and Mr. Terrific, who are great. You recognize the voices because this voice cast has been used in numerous DC or really animated shows in general, but they're great. It's cool seeing a different iteration of Miss Martian. I'm watching Young Justice, of course, and I can't wait for the next episode to premiere on the DC Universe streaming app. So I am a big fan of Miss Martian from that show, but to see her in a different iteration and used a bit differently and kind of being trained by Batman, which I find interesting, and he is the Kevin Conroy Batman that you know. He's just like, all right, whatever, training a kid, who cares? I love that attitude, I love that personality, because that's the Kevin Conroy Batman that I know and I grew up with. I'm going to keep saying that. But I like their relationship. I like seeing that Superman is a bit vulnerable in this show. Something happens, and I found that super interesting that they went that route, and then bringing in the new character. And what I believe to be the focus of this movie, Justice League versus the Fatal Five, well, you kind of have two focuses of this movie. You have the Legion of Superheroes. We have seen the Legion before. They've had their own TV show. They've popped up here and there. We get that once again, and it's cool exploring the future characters, but the future characters looking back on the characters that we know from the present and kind of telling them, hey, you guys had a huge impact on us. You set up what the Legion is today or in the future, and I found that exploration awesome. But then you have Diane Guerrero playing Jessica Cruz, aka a different iteration of Green Lantern, and don't worry, they don't wipe the slate clean and say, oh, these other Green Lanterns don't exist. They're there, and you see that they are there, but you have Crazy Jane from the Doom Patrol playing Green Lantern. That's right, she is Crazy Jane, and she also plays a really solid Green Lantern, a very different iteration because she doesn't really know if she wants to do this or not. She's not excited about being a superhero, and you get to see her come into her own. You kind of know where the story is going. It's predictable in a sense, but it's also entertaining seeing it and seeing where she goes, especially where she ends up at the end of this movie. Now, I will say, this does, in its own way, feel like an extended episode instead of a movie. And I'm not complaining, because I was just excited to see these characters back, and it's really cool to see another episode in this universe. But if you're looking for this full-length movie with this crazy plot line and something that you've never seen before, no, it is very familiar. You have probably seen this before, and if you don't have this large attachment to the old show like I do, I could see how you could watch this and say, well, that was just another mediocre DC animated movie. Not necessarily bad, but not the greatest thing I've ever seen. And I'm not saying it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. I was just excited. I felt like a kid again, being back in this universe and hearing those voices and hearing the music and the guitar, oh, man. And even the art style. It's not the most ambitious art style ever. It's very simple, if you think about it. But it's the art style that I love, and it was cool to see that as opposed to this newer stuff that we've been seeing that looks great, but it's nice to give us a good throwback every now and then. If DC continues to do this and continues to explore from this universe that hasn't been mined from in quite a while, I'm not opposed to that. Listen, I like the new universe, and I like the new versions of our heroes. I hope we get to keep exploring that, and I like doing different things every now and then, like the Suicide Squad offshoot, and the random Batman movies that they do like once or twice a year. I didn't love The Killing Joke, but I'm happy that they did it. I'm happy that they took a risk. Keep taking risks and taking chances, but also take the risk in bringing back this universe because I just want to see more from it. I love this universe. The voice actors are clearly there, and they're ready to come back and reprise these roles. DC, I'm up for it, man. I think kids today would love it because it's something different. I think the people who grew up with that show would love it because it's incredible, and I think fans of these heroes will love it because Susan Eisenberg as Wonder Woman, George Newbern as Superman, they know these characters from front to back, everything about them, and Kevin Conroy. Do I even have to say Kevin Conroy at this point? All of these voice actors care about these heroes. Let's bring back Michael Rosenbaum as Flash. Let's just bring back the whole crew and give us another Justice League TV show, please. And once again, guys, not the most ambitious or crazy or incredible plotted DC film I have seen in the animated world, but it was really fun, really entertaining, great action scenes. It is a Justice League that maybe we're not used to seeing because these characters were cursing. There was blood. There was more violence. It is a dark and gritty version of the team that they couldn't do on television because it was on Cartoon Network, and that's kind of for kids, and kids can't see cursing, but now they can because they're releasing this on VOD, on DVD. They're free to do whatever they want, so I'm excited to see more of this. I don't think the Fatal Five itself, the villains, were the most interesting villains ever. They were a bit conventional. They were similar to what we've seen before, but you know what? I still had a good time, and all of those things being said, I need you guys to get down in the comment section down below. Let me know if you enjoyed this, if it played on your nostalgia, or if you were disappointed in what the story turned out to be, and because of all of those things, I'm going to give this a 74%. Really solid DC animated movie. I recommend, if you haven't seen it, check it out. And once again, be sure to get down in the comment section below and let me know if I'm crazy, if I'm right, if I'm wrong, all of those things. You guys are the absolute best. On My Block Season 2, the brand new Netflix show. That review is coming out tonight, and then tomorrow morning, the best and worst of March. I'm pumped to bring you guys those videos. I'm doing videos on this channel every single day, whether it's comics or Netflix or streaming or movies or television shows, all of those things. I'm going to try to give you guys a review once a day or at least once every 2 days. You are the absolute best. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will be back very soon.
You are listening to PopX Cast, where science fiction meets pop culture.
Captain's Log Supplemental.
PopX Cast.